Hello, Nick, Ohana, Cosmos. It is February 25th, 2025. Ooh, another beautiful number. So many numbers lined up. 22nd, 20th, 24th. Now it's the 25th of 2025. And what a fun time and exciting time it is. It's, 4:50 in the morning now. I've been up since 2 something. And again, this is Mirrorworks. This is for me. In case you just happen to stumble across this video, you just subscribe. It's like, oh, should I watch this probably hour-long video? No, this is for me to me. That's why I'm looking in the mirror. That's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. I'm just like, you know what? I'm not trying to do this for someone else. And these are the blue light blockers because it's really early. I still want to have my brain be a little bit less blue lighty. And if you decide to stay, that's up to you. Part of this for me is practicing transparency, authenticity, intimacy. And it really is for me to me and putting it in a public space so that I'm actually being accountable to myself. And I post them every few days because no one really needs to see these new videos. It's just gonna come out. There's a lot going on. Came back from the unconventional, recorded about that yesterday. And then just noticing what's unfolding. I just caught wind of another program that has the title Soul Immersion as well. And so it's bringing up my thoughts and feelings of imposter syndrome, going, do I even know what I'm doing? And then listening to Dr. John Demartini, who's done the breakthrough experience. And he's done it over 1,000 times, delivered over 30,000 hours worth of the experience. And I'm just trying to figure out how many years of life that is. Like, that's a crazy amount of dedication. And I'm going to be going through the online breakthrough experience this weekend, March 1st and 2nd. I'm going to say it this way, the arrogance of me to already be like, even before having gone to one, going, I think I know how I can improve this process. And just being with that, having no idea what's actually in the process. So noticing those thoughts and feelings are coming up and then letting them go. I have a chat with 2 of the Demartini team today, and hopefully I get to have both of those, and letting go of the control of the outcome, because as much as I want to control it, the bigger part is just letting go of the control, making a plan. But here's the other part, is actually listening to his work and making a plan. What do I dream of? And I realize this is part of the work in the mirror work, is to actually be with the dreams. And then there's the fear of the dreams too. And that's part of what I'm going to be going into this breakthrough experience. What is it that's actually holding me back from the dreams of my own map of consciousness, the dreams of my own Ohana family, the dreams of my founding of this business, the dreams of financial wealth? There's stuff that's there. And my brain would like to go, once you get that financial wealth, everything will come. And they're all linked. For me especially, I know that they're all linked. But it doesn't also mean that any one of them has to limit the others. I can think, I can wait, I can fast. I can have total map of consciousness with $0. It's just, that's not what I'm mapping out, planning, choosing in this lifetime. And again, especially if the whole monetary system collapses, you know what? That's okay. I may be worth $0. Doesn't mean I can't be worth gold and silver and trust. And again, coming back to trust is the currency. And then just wondering for myself, I'm like, oh, there's all these, like when I read about the descriptions of some of these trainings, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things I don't know. I got to learn this. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to write back to clear vision people and be like, you know what? Let's just let it go. And then do I do more? And as I listen, even before I do the first breakthrough experience, oh, do I need to train as this? And do I have enough skills on the team? And how do I get people who want to collaborate with us, contract with us, actually working within our ecosystem in a good way without constraining them and having them feel like they're missing out on something or being controlled by, and also being clear enough what it is I'm trying to create. And part of it is I'm not quite sure. If I'm being honest, I'm not quite sure. I'm partnering with people because I know that I don't want to deliver this all myself. And I'm trusting the process. And how do I make it so that it's actually easier for people to move through, especially the first people, especially my dear friends. And then let go of the pressure, let go of the internal build up to everything. The build up, the stories. Yesterday, I got this amazing acupuncture from our TCM, Dr. Gao. She's literally the best. The best for me. Super busy, super loving. And then I got to witness, she had done some TCM on someone and it looked like a Merkaba or a flower of life. It was a piece of art watching, experiencing. I didn't even realize that she did this. Every needle was interlaced. It was so cool. And then she had me not just do acupuncture, but cupping and moving cupping and this scraping thing. It was, it's helping to move the energy. And yesterday, I definitely indulged as well. We were in Richmond, so I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have some of these XLBs, silong baos, the soup dumplings, and have some of these lovely buns that have soup in as well. It's one of my favorite foods. I've said before, it's like, if you see me in what you think is a vegetative state, but I can still eat these, then it's worth living. It's when I can actually eat and enjoy and be the alchemist body that I am, that maybe it's time to move on from this body. And I'm gonna have to look up this book by this Indian guru that's come up a few times, and Peter Crone mentioned, and then a quote came up in the Breakthrough Experience book. And I was like, all right, it's come up a couple times, and it's time to look up this book and actually download it. So I got a couple samples at least on the Kindle for now. Just feeling the energy in the background. There's almost like a vibration when I stop talking in the back of my head. And then learning all these new theories, German new medicine, for example, like everything comes down to some kind of episode that happened, and it affects you depending on the effect of different germ layers. And having learned this before, when I was going through medicine and going through biology, there's different layers of the body to develop. And so diseases, so to speak, are interlinked based on the layers of the body as opposed to the organ system, which is what we've been taught and stratified as in the modern Western medical system. And taking a look at that, and perhaps the thing that we think is the disease is actually the body's beginning of the resolution when things are actually breaking down often. And then we're getting confused, things building up, cancers. Oh, that is actually the re-armoring of this event that happened that just keeps growing because no one's been teaching how do you actually resolve the actual event. And then when it actually starts breaking down its own, we'll see other things that look like infections coming in. Maybe that's actually continuing. And for myself, after the initial healing from the asthma and having a few years of no disease, because it's like, I'm not having anything, and then suddenly having it again, I'm glad I didn't go back to, oh my God, this is bad in the way. I'm sure there are little pockets of it. And then now it's funny that whenever I get in one of those states, I'm embracing the fever. I'm like, let's get into it. And it's partly, I think almost there was a part of me that knew this is actually the healing. And there's these cycles because there's parts that I'm still missing, if you want to put it that way, or still overriding or ignoring. And how is it that I can let this build up and then clear it out, build up and clear it out? And it's the rebalancing and allowing that homeostasis to take part. And part of it is recognizing it's okay. As I recognize that they may be becoming further apart, but even if they're not, it may just be preparing me. And that's what I look at now. It's not reparation, it's preparation. And perhaps that's the thing even for the breakthrough experience. We're breaking through the past, but how about, and he is already doing this, it's breaking through to the future. And he's talking about the visions and the dreams. And so part of this is the layering of me getting my own understanding of what he's doing before even doing it. And it's not trying to get ahead, but it's finding these layers in my mind and my soul, because it's like, there's a part of me that already knows I've tuned into so many of these teachings. And coming to the teaching is a remembering. Not out of arrogance, but if I come to it as a remembering, I'm like, what can I listen to as if it's the first time? What can I listen to as if it's the second time, third time, fourth time already? And that's almost like speed experiencing. There's speed reading, there's speed experiencing. Like my speed reading, I haven't figured that out yet. And part of me is like, oh, I enjoy listening to things in my brain. I'm like, I look forward to an experience of life that changes however it wants to change. both sometimes speeding up and both sometimes slowing down. And that's working with Brent in the Backcountry Enlightenment. He's reminding me, he's like, how do you create these flow states, these experiential processes without putting your body in full harm's way again? And still knowing you want to have these big experiences. So that's probably why the Backcountry Enlightenment is going to be important. A lot of these clients don't want to sit in a room and be like, okay, I've got to really understand this thing for 25 hours. That's the piece. How do I meet people where they're at? How do I take this and bring it there? And how do I maximize my exposure to the teachers that I really want to be taught by right now? And a lot of them are going to be older and more experienced. And it's funny because the founding my company, they're younger than me. The collaborators that I have are older than me. And it's probably going to be a similar dynamic because these collaborators are choosing to support me in my growth as well. And I recognize that. I thank them for the gift of their generosity for that too. Turning off the noise canceling because I'm just noticing there's not much noise in the background. Noticing the color changes to green, which helps me to tweak what's going on. And then noticing that this is, the gain had been flipped. And so we'll see how it goes now. Oh, it was probably in +6. This is -6 now. +6, yeah. Balanced, okay. All right, these are little things that I'm realizing to double check when I first plug it in. It's like, are we zeroed up or not? Because if we're zeroed up, this shouldn't go above halfway when I'm talking, even loudly, relatively loudly, okay. Just being with butterflies, not butterflies, there's just a little bit of a twitch inside. And the first thing in my mindset is being with the fear inside and then being reminded, and thank you, one of my teachers, Yvonne, fear and excitement, you know. And that's part of it, the excitement of having conversations where I am a client and it's unexpected in a way. It's almost more unexpected to go into something as a client, a little tightness now in the shoulder, or in the trap, than it is as a facilitator. I think I had that realization when I was a camp counselor. Like, this is like being a camper without the rules. And it's fantastic, and it's my favorite job. And probably that was a reminder of this life. Like, that's me as a counselor. And being this way now, it's like I get to live life, except in a way I'm gonna say on God mode. Like, it feels like that's what it is. It feels like I found a cheat code for the game. And why isn't everyone living this cheat code already? Like, why is everyone struggling so hard and stressing out about what they have and don't have? And noticing I do that as well. But I'm grateful I'm doing it now in the things that matter less. It used to be, it was so important. Like right now we're like looking for a new vacuum because our vacuum's not working. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so stressed that I feel like I shouldn't spend the money on that vacuum. And I'm like, I still feel some of that. But I'm like, the stuff that I really want, that really matters to me, I get. And that's my reminder with my beloved. She's really good about when I really want something. She's like, I'm clear, I'm certain. She's like, it's just yes. I mean, that's how I got to Fit for Service. And it really helped that Fit for Service had a full money back guarantee. And I'm really grateful for, I imagine Eric was a big part of that push. Because I can see it still now with his own program. And I want to write him for that still, to thank him for that and say thank you. I don't plan on taking a program in the near future because there's already so many things. And I'm grateful to have seen some of his inspiration for it already. He's like put out this flower. It's like, hey, it's here, take it. And that's a big thing. It's been an inspiration for me, again, which is why I'm putting these things out there. In a way, it's all out there already. Everything that I'm learning, I'm putting out in real time. And it's not packaged in a way that's really of service yet. And that's why we have something like AI coming out, where it really helps to repackage the things. Like, AI is a beautiful repackager. And I was saying the other day, I was like, how do we teach our children not this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is possible, this is impossible? It's just, these are the things that we haven't really figured out yet. And if you want to know the real secret, we haven't figured anything out yet. So everything that we're teaching you, and I love that Alan Watts is saying, like, if you learn the 5 primary colors, like even Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, blue, indigo, violet, and you describe the world in that way, you've just lost sight of the world, because the world is not those colors. Those are the names we have to help represent things in a very broad category to help us be able to share an experience. And then we call people colorblind if they can't see one particular way and delineate that way. And I can only imagine how they could delineate things if we could actually give a name to it, and how the world has shrunken in by forcing them not to delineate that way. Now, that also goes in a way for genders then, you could say. And there's a piece of truth to that too. Oh, okay, there's a little tightness there. Because there's a bit of me that pushes back and says, like, oh, I don't want to figure all this stuff out. But also, part of it is the balance between trusting the next generation and knowing that we've created so many patterns and traps for the next generation. Like, it feels like there's more widely distributed traps than there ever have been before. And I think it's just a different kind of trap. Perhaps even the traps are easy to break because there's wider, more easily distributable, I'm going to say solutions because that's what my mind wants to say, but maybe inspirations is the thing. Being inspired by. Being inspired by. My brain wants to say there's a sadness, there's a heaviness, what maybe a fatigue in the back of the head, and that's still there, and that's okay. We're 17 minutes in, and we'll see how far we get to today. Yesterday, I got to use tickled for the first time. I didn't explain that tickled is my new word for triggered. So the triggers are still present. They're always going to be present. And the moment I was triggered, I noticed it. I shut down. I could feel my energy just concentrating. It's like almost protectiveness. It's forming the armor. Like I can feel the armoring up. And the withdrawal. And then the separation. And then in the separation, I can notice the chatter in my head. And I'm grateful that instead of staying in the chatter of my head, going to another room and actually starting to just speak out loud, I recorded a little audio of myself going, okay, this is me being tickled. This is me feeling like I'm not enough, that I am being demasculated, that there's a story about things, that I'm frustrated, and why can't I be seen for who I am instead of what I'm not, and all of that. And I could feel a little bit of that right now. And then coming to the point of, okay, how do I come out of this in a different way? Instead of going right towards trying to apologize, because it's not a real apology, and reminding myself of DeMartini, the only thing you can forgive is, it's not forgiveness, it's thank you for giving me this opportunity. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with being tickled, to notice what's still there, the stories that are still there, the parts of me that can still shift on a dime and come back to the contraction and the armoring. And better being able to see this here in this context with Ohana, with people who love me, versus out there and not sure what to do with it in the midst of everything else. Train's coming, so I turned on the noise canceling again. It turned yellow. And noticing that there was a difference. It wasn't the way I wanted to be yet, and it's better. Feeling a little pain in the head along with the tightness here. Almost the left, or the right side. And in those stories, what's up? All those stories. The biggest thing I can notice in this life, if all I have is pure presence, is how do I come back to presence? And when I'm armoring, when I'm contracting, it's not that time doesn't exist, that I'm not present, but what I'm being present with feels so diminished compared to when I'm in the expansive state. And I'm committed to being in the expansive state more often. It's like the cheat code to living more lifetimes in this lifetime. Living longer, great, but living more present and fully all the time, so much better. And then watching the heaps of pills and the structure of life and the sterility of life. I'm going to say this for Brian Johnson, not that I don't admire what he's doing. That's part of his purpose. He's helping to biohack ways for all of us, but I can be very clear I don't want that life. And me not wanting that life is different from me not appreciating the contribution the person is making and wanting them to change. And that's what I'm noticing in a lot of the journalism now, is it's almost, I don't agree with how you're living life, so therefore you shouldn't be living this life. It's like, I don't agree with, some leader, and I'm being cautious. I don't want to get fully censored. I can notice that. So I'm going to say that you shouldn't be doing this. And now I can see, how do I live and let live? Like, such a great statement. Live and let live. Live and let live. It's a beautiful statement when you actually think about it, when I actually contemplate it more. And notice there's always a dynamic, like, whether it's someone complaining about their relationship or someone complaining about their country, there's the dynamic. And for me right now, I notice the things that I don't agree with in this country, but I'm complaining and I'm complaining about it way less. It doesn't mean I have to agree and be complacent, but I don't have to fight as a revolutionary, because that's not how I want to come in this world right now. Whether I want to call it evolution, more so I'm being reminded, and it was like seeing Maeve the other day and her saying, your loving presence, your pure loving presence is such a gift. And I was like, thank you for reminding me, because I forget. I can forget that that's the gift I really want to share and spread. And as I'm debating whether I want to become more handy, whether certain tasks I want to be able to learn and do more, the resistance to it is less about doing the thing than the story that if I'm doing that, I'm taking away from what I'm wanting to do, my highest gift. And there's a piece of truth to that, and there's a piece of untruth, because there's so many practices I'm doing. Even this takes up a lot of time and energy. What if I was dedicated to doing something else, even just a little bit? What might I get from being that kind of philosopher king, that kind of flow? And so that's a reminder for me, And part of it is how to concentrate that. Okay, what is it that you really want me to do? What is it you really want me to do? And perhaps I can do 1 or 2 tasks every now and then. And then everything else I'm going to plan to outsource. Because I still am going to plan to outsource most, if not everything. Or bring someone over to guide me to actually the doingness of it. That could be it as well. All right, let me know what you want me to do. I'm going to guide someone to guide me, and I'm going to learn it. But I'm not just going to do it on my own. I don't need to figure it out. It's just like I don't need to read a manual. I hate reading. I don't hate reading manuals. I know others who hate reading manuals. Sometimes I actually really enjoy reading them because I feel like I understand things better. And that's how I do things. That's how I'm familiar with doing things, and that's probably part of it. I grew up patterning that way. All the patterns from growing up. So the noise in the background has shifted. Just turned off the noise canceling, and it comes back to center more easily. Okay. 24 minutes in. Saturn, this song by Sleeping Giants, loving it right now. And then he's got a whole collection of the planets, of the cosmos, of sensations, of feelings and emotions. I'm like, this artist seems amazing, so I can't wait to go through some of his albums and choose what to do. And I can't wait for a virtual assistant in the future to help me go through and help me download all the music that I actually want to download. And have the resources to actually pay for and have all of these things in catalogs and libraries so that playlists are replicated, so I don't have to worry about what if Spotify cuts things off, deletes the account, anything else like that. Silly things like that can happen. Archives it even with screenshots as a start. all these things that can be automated, and I don't want to automate yet. All the bookkeeping things. I'm just imagining right now Bitcoin breath and figuring out what the incentives would be there to guide people, to entice people, to inspire people to drop into breath. And right now, obviously, it's breath with me, and all of that can expand in the future because there may be other things to guide people into. Affiliate links, other things like that, like making that page maybe a little bit more holistic, more of a sales and marketing side of things to point people to different directions. And commissions being earned. It could even be 1% of commissions earned through linking through this page is going towards the Bitcoin. Right? We'll have sponsors who will match it maybe. And there's a percentage of commissions going towards that. So, what's possible? What's possible? What's possible? There's so many things that are possible. And then letting it go. Letting go of all the games first. The games may work eventually, but first it's creating the value in the product that I really want to do. That's more important to me. The games are figuring out how to actually increase the awareness distribution flow. But we don't want to pour gasoline on the fire until we realize, is this the fire we actually want burning? Is this the right place? Is this the right time? Or is it going to turn into a terrible wildfire that's going to burn everything up? It's not going to serve. So, let's focus on that first, and let's keep noticing these games in the background and envision that this is like the next Falcon 9 versus the Falcon 1, right? It's going to launch way faster, way quicker. And how do we start with what's here in front of me? How to start with increasing probably the number of live in-person events as well. Like the online stuff is fantastic. Live in-person events are really good too. And I get it a little bit now looking at Awaken and watching them with their branding. Their training program is creating more apprentices, and that's probably the biggest thing for me. How do I create more apprentices? Where we have people who I know I can trust, I can guide, and can guide with me in all the different ways. Just taking a breath, just being with this moment, being with all that's going on. Almost time to take the glasses off. It's probably about 5 o'clock now. I'm just taking a second to see my own eyes through the lenses a little bit more. I'm going to decide whether I'm going to get the future light and other things like that. And I'll take my time. I'm not in any rush. It's a reminder for me because part of me wants the very best tools already in the creation process. I'm looking at like gimbals that are like, $400, $500 now already. I'm like, do I really need that? I'm glad when I looked at the videos, like that's a much bigger device. Yes, it could work better, but do I need all of that? And then possibly switching to, there's another one that they have that's much smaller. I think I'd have to take a look at the video then. And then the one that I'm getting right now is smaller yet, and it's about $250, $260 after tax. But with all the accessories, it'd be like up to like even like $350. So it's kind of getting crazy. And if I'm using it enough, it's worthwhile. So again, one step at a time. And then the Roxiva light I have, let's get that in use again. And let's take a step back. Let's actually clean out the room. That's the next important thing. Let's clean out our stuff and then clear out the balcony. Clean up the stuff, clear out the balcony, get stuff done. Let it go. Let it go. Such a joy to be in this life. And And noticing I can judge those closest to me when they're annoyed with things, and like, I'm annoyed with their annoyance. Like, why does your annoyance have to be in my space? And then recognizing, that's my work. How am I being annoyed with their annoyance? All they're doing is saying that they're annoyed. I'm not even the one that has to be annoyed with the thing. And yet even that can annoy me. Who's the one that can't be with something now? And I'm practicing laughing. So right now, I'm getting ready for my call with Elena DiMartini. And what are the better questions to ask? What are the better questions about the breakthrough experience? What are the better questions about the things that I'm seeing, about the possibilities of being able to bring up in a different way? And that's probably part of it, is inviting in, I'm going to come back to their expertise, being guided by and saying, hey, if thoughts come up, sayings come up, reflections come up, questions come up, please ask them, or please even guide me to, this might be a question you want to contemplate. And I'm going to say that because those are things that I can see are part of your expertise. And I look forward, this is what I'm wanting to do, is draw from your expertise and draw from your reflections, because I am seeing myself daily. Daily I'm doing this mirror work. Now, if you drop in a couple questions, I'm happy to drop those into myself. Like, who am I? How to answer that? Name, fame, something, aim, game. Name, fame, reframe. So name, hi, I'm Soul Dr. Nick. Frame, I'm a medical doctor turned breath work facilitator and a medicine man to guide immersive transformational journeys. Things such as, you'll know other people like Dr. Joe Dispenza or Tony Robbins, or who else? Or Dr. Gabor Mate. There's so many different methodologies, Dr. John DiMartini. And I have an immersive, bespoke, customized soul immersion program with fellow founders that I'm looking to deliver to 1,000 people in the next 5 years. And over the next year, we'll have limited capacity is the word that comes to mind. And our first retreats and a few retreats, whether you're looking for a personal journey or whether you're looking to be part of a inspired group. And this is for people who are willing to invest time, energy, presence, and money into an experience because they're looking to create on a vision that is bigger than themselves. Way more than 30 seconds, way less clear. And so part of it for me is, again, over and over again, dreaming. What is the vision? What do I see? Like looking at Dr. DiMartini standing on that balcony, speaking to all the countries, all the people. What is it that I'm seeing for myself? And I've seen myself facilitating ceremonies with numbers of other facilitators. That actually was part of what I did at the Unconventional. There's a number of different facilitators there, and I was really grateful to be able to facilitate them at the same time. And there's a part of my brain that will say the story is, haha, I'm better than, the comparison piece. And then another part of myself that's like, what a gift it is to have this trust and to support people to go into the process, because I often dive into the process for myself and want to. And I do it often in a more private setting because I realize I want to be able to be even more expressive. Because I have had a tendency in the past to scream and to shout, and perhaps that might not serve everyone else. And I don't want to dampen that when I'm going through myself. And I'm okay doing it within a small group of people that I know want to as well. So there's that piece. There's that piece. Just taking a breath in and out, and just noticing what's there. Noticing what I want for myself in my own journey. having Becky and or Prabhup and or Joni and or Brent all holding space for me. Being with that and inviting them to dive in their own way as well. Ah, stories upon stories upon stories upon stories. Reaching out to my friend Nick soon. He had checked in, so that's a piece. Being with health and disease differently, continuing to look at that. What is there to learn about disease? Disease processes. What is there to learn about sovereignty, infinity, safety? That safety and unsafety piece. It's just living in so many bodies that stories and identities are being held onto, the approval, the disapproval. What is it for me? What is it that I actually want to be, have, do? Be, do, have. Be, do, have. As DeMartini says. It'd be important to take a look at that again, so I'm going to try taking a look at it right now. As part of the breakthrough experience. All right, let's see here. The Kindle just got updated, I think. Yeah. All right, so if you believe in God, work with Him. If you do not, become one. Very interesting. A genius is one who is willing to define and refine their dream and keep acting on high priority actions to fulfill it. A genius is one who is willing to define and refine their dream and keep acting on high priority actions to fulfill it. A genius is one who is willing to define and refine their dream and keep acting on high priority actions to fulfill it. I am a genius and I apply my wisdom. So, be. So it's be, do, have, detailed specific statements. Be a wealthy multimillionaire and charitable philanthropist by age 40. Do a monthly accelerated savings plan where I invest $2,000, then $3,000, then $4,000, and so on with Merrill Lynch Financial Brokerage Corporation, using the strategy of dollar cost averaging combined with value averaging, continually building cushions of investment classes while diversified through sectors, using a balance of actively managed mutual funds and passively managed index funds. Have patience and the rewards of financial freedom, travel, and social and charitable opportunity. Be, do, have. Oh, the be is actually the end result. Be this. Have. What do I need to have? The have part's actually a little bit more clear. I may have to ask what the be, do, have. Have patience, have the rewards of financial freedom, travel. Be and have. Be sought after. Be be a father. Be a husband. Do the things that my wife would love for me to do. That's part of it. It's a high priority, high impact thing right now, while actually supporting her to transition out of it, to have me transition out of that as well. And so in this interim state is actually doing the things so she can see, and not resisting the things, which actually takes so much energy as well. And the money piece, yeah, like it's actually figuring out how to generate this corporation, and it just feels so fucking janky right now, the money piece. It is janky. Like there is stuff that's working out, and it's really janky. And I still haven't calculated out the net assets yet this year. It's been such a long time. It's been put off and put off and put off. And then building in the bank accounts and the savings accounts automatically. And where do I want to do that? Money being transferred there automatically. Having different accounts just so things can transfer automatically. And having enough accounts. Okay. B, do have. And then let's take a look at the actual overall dream then too, because I think that's another important one to learn from. There we go. All right. Dear God, I ask that I forever remain an inquisitive explorer, one determined to solve some of humanity's natural riddles, one willing to be suspicious of any stagnant convictions when confronting the mysteries of the human mind, one enabled to probe the most intriguing mysteries lying concealed in the complex operations of the evolving human consciousness, one adding new discoveries, and one awakening humanity to ever greater mysteries. I ask that I be a pioneer in the works of human behavior, that I have the audacity to be relentless in the quest, and have the quiet resolve to become one of the greatest and most elucidating cultural forces in the fields of chiropractic, psychology, philosophy, and theology. I ask that I am enabled to further develop my revolutionary psychotransformative tool with 1,000 uses called the quantum collapse process, and that I am able to live a privileged and high-cultured life for the sake of fulfilling this lifelong quest. I am a star, my destiny is to shine. I really like that one. I am a star, my destiny is to shine. I am a master of details, and I see my path clearly. I am the author of my life. Whoever has the most certainty rules. The truth of me is light. God is the power, I'm the vision. We're the team. God is the power, I'm the vision. We're the team. God is the power, I'm the vision. We're the team. So part of it as well, I'm noticing is how do I send energy back and forth through time and inside and outside, so becoming that perpetual energy machine. So when I was coming back from the immersion, from the unconventional, I had so much energy and vibrancy. I was like, okay, instead of having someone else have to help me dampen this, let's send this and guide this to where it wants to go. And I'm recognizing in the moments that I'm tickled, how do I guide some of that back in or guide this back out? Like not even knowing the in and the out, but actually playing with how these polarities work to charge the machine, without trying to understand it all, because my brain may try to get to like, oh, I know how this is supposed to work. And it may be that when I think I'm supposed to send things out, I'm actually supposed to take things in. And when I think I'm supposed to take things in, it's actually best for me to send it out and to let go of the knowingness of that. Because part of me thinks I'm supposed to know how this is supposed to work. And I don't. I don't know how this all works. It's funny, I love using the built-in camera, but one of the best things about this, I can see that built-in little audio piece. And I don't know if the iPhone camera app, especially on video, can show the little audio piece, because it really helps to track if it's actually listening or if it's not, or if something's happened. Like that's one of the things that I would like to have in the app itself. And we'll see. We'll see. Basic features, advanced features, learning. 45 minutes in. So for myself, it's less about the human behavior. Like that to me is more head-based. It's the experience of joy and play. Like for me, I want to forever be in a state of play. Like this is fun. There's a part of me that as I'm childlike and actually owning the childlike nature that I am, I do better. And owning it because I can own it being the adult that I am, because the credentials for being the adult I am is, the biggest one is actually being a father. The second one is having the MD. So having had those two things, letting go of needing to act a certain way to justify that those two titles are actually something that I've earned. Something that I've received. And now I give to myself. Because I'm no longer depending on the body that can take it away. I give myself these titles now. I both received and given myself the titles. Both and. And that takes away that part that someone can take it away. So part of me is getting this stuff clear, because if I'm actually going to be on podcast, how do I actually be as succinct as possible? And the more and more I can actually be succinct of who is Nick and how do I want to describe myself, the better things will go. Who am I is such a vast question. And who am I can practice bringing down and condensing into the question. I'm a person that can be in the middle of a 200-person Matthias DiStefano activation and not completely explode, because it's more of a fusion reaction than a fission reaction for me. It's creating perpetual energy versus putting on a show and an exclamation and a declaration. It's seeing beyond space and time and seeing that everything in life had led up to that point. And if everything in life had led up to that point, then everything is leading up to this point right now too, including if this podcast goes completely off the rails. Awesome. And I think it's going to go amazing. So everything's led up here. It's perfect. Everything going forward is perfect, but it doesn't have to be the same. I don't have to be complacent about it just because it's perfect. For myself, part of it is recognizing that if I'm not playing and having a grand old time and being really present, then is that the path I want to keep choosing? For me, it's actually, there's the whole idea of follow your highest excitement. I think for me, it's follows my highest presence. Like if I'm really present with the moment and not trying to escape it and run away, that's what I'm wanting to follow. Because I can tell there's those closest to me can feel such a withdrawal of my energy the moment something happens. And I'm changing it from being triggered to being tickled now. And it definitely still happens. And the closer you are to me, the more you can notice it instantly. The further you're away, the less you can usually notice those. But the beautiful thing about meeting new people, I find, is that they can see aspects of those closest to me now I've been patterned into. And so those far away can sometimes see something, it's like, what's this? It's like, oh, thank you. I didn't even notice that. So there's so much benefit to both having a very close, intimate tribe and regularly exposing myself to people outside of my usual circle. And I say this so that I can realize it's part of my value to do both, because all of this relates back to my highest value, which is my map of consciousness, my own conscious being, which doesn't just stay in one spot. It's moving all the time and taking such big swings because it's a logarithmic scale. Like I can still go down all the way to fear, guilt, and shame. And then that upswing can feel so big. And just noticing the swings and the plays and the polarities. And overall though, I can't say from my birth, I can say from the point that I actually remember life, it's been such an upswing. It had a huge downswing, first of all. huge downswing in the pressures of life and the pressures of trying to conform and be someone who I don't think I was here to be. And I do believe that my soul chose that journey to get to where I am right now with you. And that's my reminder, and that's why I know you love Dr. Demartini as well. We can see everything's in balance. Like everything is in balance, and it doesn't mean I want to repeat the thing again. An echo of it may come back. I definitely don't want to repeat the thing. And it's actually impossible to repeat a thing. There's never two instances in space-time that is exactly the same. And we can talk about more about space-time and all that stuff. I'm not here to deconstruct that because I'm not trying to be an expert. I appreciate that when people say that. I can be an expert in my own experience. I may say things sometimes when I forget about the generality. What I'm really doing is planting seeds. In my ceremonial experiences, whether it's breath or breath plus, I talk a lot right now because that's how I know how to plant seeds. And in the silences in between, I plant a lot of seeds as well. Part of it and how I really accentuate doing that is because I get to have medicine experiences along with others, or when I'm leading, often I'm actually guiding myself to medicine experiences to spread that medicine as well. And I have the capacity that when I'm taking the medicine, other people can experience it. And I have the capacity even doing that over Zoom. I have the capacity doing that even over a recording of the Zoom call. And I'm so grateful for the teachers, and I'm so grateful for all that's led up to me, whether it's this lifetime or other lifetimes, to be able to do that. Now, people will come and sometimes be like, I didn't experience what you're saying. My reflection back is you're likely experiencing the version that you're ready for. And it seems like such a cop-out. And it is and it isn't. Because it is in the sense that I'm continuing to refine my process. There are things that I'm so excited about improving already. And the process that's there already is perfect for what it needs to be. I've had people going back to old breaths saying, oh my God, I experienced this. And sometimes if you're not experiencing it, that's okay. Maybe this work may not be the thing for you right now. And that's part of why I love doing what I do, is I remind people, I'm here to help wake you up to your own sage, your own intuition, which will no doubt help guide you to what's going to serve you next. And that may be more of me. And I'm not attached to it. That's part of the reason for me building out a team, because I recognized the old version was ego. Everyone's got to come this way because I'm doing the best. Versus now, how can I be the very best version of me I can in the moment, so I know I'm delivering the best of what I can, letting go of my attachment to your experience, and in so doing, giving you the best experience that I can, which means then you're guided to what your own next best experience is. Because I'm much better, and I'm not perfect, at finding my own coaches and guides. Because, and people like to use the term, the work never ends. And yes, and the reason why I say that now too is because work for me is already play. The play never ends. I see this as play. When I dive in, it's not like, oh, I've got to dig out some more crap. It's like, I can't wait to meet God again. I can't wait to be in the presence. I can't wait for what magic's going to happen. And sometimes it may be super challenging, which is also what makes it that I really want to have a really experienced, great guide there, because I've known for myself, I can get stuck. I can have the feeling of being stuck in the infinite cosmos of nothingness. And we can talk about that if you want to, or the psychosis that I've been through almost. And coming back to it, it's like, I never want to do this again, or all the death experiences I've had. I don't need to go into that again. I don't need to not have the guidance I want to have to guide back out of that. And some people will be like, you've got to be a warrior and do it on your own. And I'm like, there's some truth to that. And I think there's always deeper and deeper battles to fight. It's like, I'm never going to put up the Empire State Building on my own, but with a lot of people I can. Or I could be a really, really good carpenter and make one really solid home. And it's not that one is better than the other. It's just, I have a desire to build really big, tall, expansive, shiny things. And I know I'm not going to do it on my own. What I want to do is my part. right? Have this vision, guide people to their visions, wake things up, make things more fun. Because if we're having fun, then we're not looking at how do I work to live. I work to work because working is living and living is playing. Like, that's part of what makes me really enjoy someone like Alex Hormozi, who some people say totally not spiritual, and I see him as totally spiritual in his own way. And I would love to guide him as well. Like, I'm going to talk about and say some names, Danny. I'm going to say some names of people I want to guide. Like, and I'm saying this because part of me, this is my preparation for the podcast, to play with the words. How is it that we would think that we don't prepare? We prepare in our mind over and over again. My practice is actually saying it out loud so you can see me going through my process. And as I'm hearing my own voice, I'm like, okay, how true is this ringing? And as I say it here, how can I let go of trying to say it when I'm actually in the podcast? And then I can actually let the channel through. That's part of my work right now, is to continuously unblock the channel by actually practicing with the channel, playing with the channel, and noticing, cracked my back a little bit and the tightness. Now some tightness in the legs. And my beloved and I joke, we were totally into this best-selling author. We're still into him, so don't get me wrong. Still love him and think he's awesome. But at that time, we were totally into him and wanted to meet him and actually went to some of his programs. And then not even a year later, was able to be with him and facilitate. And it's like, and in our brand new empty condo at the time, it was hilarious. It's like, how did we get here? How did we get here? And this is before we actually did any, like, it wasn't a formal dream, formal manifestation, anything else like that. It was the universe, I believe, reminding me, because it was true. I got his contact, I reached out to him, I said, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know why I fucking did this, right? I called him and said, I have a feeling, it was in a breath session, I have a feeling I'm, like, it would be good for us to hold a ceremony for you. And this is when I was working with some other practitioners. And so there's a part of me that could say that as well, because I knew their power. I didn't fully own my own power at the time. And that's probably my own next level here. Actually, I've already done it. I've facilitated another person who we really look up to. Like, there's so many places, and every time it's such an honor. Like, there's one way of looking at it going, oh my God, I can't believe they need this, or that's what they're going through. And there's another way of going, what an honor it is to be able to witness the human that is there and witness all they're able to do and what they are, in a way, still holding on to. And just imagining the possibilities are there as this continues to shift, and being grateful that I get to play my part in the shifting. And how often do we actually get space and time for having these ceremonies? And I'm wondering now if it's my ego or truly my knowing that inviting that individual into another experience. And probably for me, what I've learned from the most recent one I've done is I'm still developing the team around me. And I really want to have a team that knows how I do things around me to actually guide the person. Both and. And so right now I'm still developing the team. Still developing the team that wants to play together and not being attached to how it's going to look. All right, 59 minutes, just about in an hour, and I can see this developing today. I can see the layering on. I can see the practicing of the podcast, the practicing of the messaging. And I haven't recorded any specific YouTube videos lately. I've got stuff scheduled for a bit because I'm recognizing this mirror work is unlocking what I want to unlock. And there's a part of me that wants to have my own experience this morning, whether it's a little bit of breath, whether it's a little bit of waking up my own medicine before I have these calls. So that might be something I'm going to do soonish as well. And it's raining hard out there today. So just reminding myself I'm going to go through the dryness of the inside. Um, the infinite universe. The infinite universe, this magnificent cosmos. So, being with the food, being with the diet, being with the tickled, being with the inspiration, being with the ideas, speaking some of those ideas, being with the reminders of putting things in calendars and getting people to automatically book in calls, a few months from now. And that's probably an important thing. Anyone who I love, who I want them to get a hold of me again, just book a Start Your Journey call again. Like, that's probably the easiest way right now. And possibly speaking to the team a little bit about the website, what I see. Yeah, that's probably a bit of it. That might be something I do. That might be something I do. Record a little audio about that. Record a little audio about that. Record a little bit of audio about that. Oh. All the things. All the things. Arriving and heading out in the morning. Leaving early in the morning to enjoy the full days there, 5 full days. Arrive, ceremony, activity, ceremony, integration, departure day. Having that plane come a little later in the day. Man, that feels rushed still. I'd really like that 6th day to leave, because that 5th day just to sit and not move would be really good. I think that's just it, 6 days, but that 6th day is really a sitting day. And it can be, if it's 6 days, that 6th day, sitting day, is the rest day for us as well. And then another 6 days, so 12 days in total. So 2 weeks really, because there'll be 2 days, 1 day on each side. So yeah, I probably imagine 6 days, because I really want that rest day before people fly out. And for some people, if it's important, they can fly back for the day. Some people can fly out first and actually stay in the lodge for a day. But that 6 days is a rest day regardless, for the people that know they need to go and definitely be secure they can leave first, and that could be a resupply day as well. All of these can be resupplied. There's a lot of flights for resupply. That's a reminder. Yeah. Right now, 6 days, especially if I want 2 ceremonies and I want to have the mix of the in and the out and the breath and everything else in between. So breath, half the personal sessions, at least the first day. Half the personal sessions, breath, ceremony. The actual kind of rest day, hike day, activity day. And really having a couple options, and then guiding us to the 2nd ceremony day earlier on, and then rest, and then breath and integration, and then heading out. Yeah. Spaciousness. It's so important to have spaciousness. spaciousness in the conversations, spaciousness in the choosing. So choose your own adventure on that day. Really choose your own adventure again. And notice when you want to do something because you feel like that's the thing to do, or notice when you're like, we have to all be together. Those are both stories. Doesn't mean you can't be a leader and try to bring people together and also let go of the attachment, right? It's going to really be a choose your own adventure. And for me, part of it is, how do I rest and recalibrate? Because tomorrow we're going to get started again. As people come in, you're going to be going. And that is the finding balance day too. While we're still doing 2 ceremonies, there's got to be a finding balance day. If it was 1 ceremony, rest, recover, fly out, that's okay. So the easiest is 4, but it's only 1 ceremony. Yeah, because we need to balance that polarity still. Reminding the medicines within. Oh, so many thoughts. And really the work before and after is guide those polarities in, because with a giant upswing, there can be a giant downswing. It's actually guiding them back up towards a new way of seeing it, towards a new way of rebalancing their own life and the ebbs and the flows and the synchronicities and everything else. Instead of chasing the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Again, Alex Hormozi says as well, it's like most people just keep chasing that business, and every time it gets to the low, it's like, oh, I gotta chase the next thing, chase the next thing, chase the next thing. This is inviting people to actually complete that cycle, so they can see how they can develop and how they can actually create new cycles that keep building and building and building. And part of the reason we can do this is that we have such a commitment to ourselves, commitment to the alumni, and commitment to the freedom that's available. And we want to get to that point where we feel the freedom versus having someone go off going, oh, I can see them just redoing the pattern. And part of it in committing to this way and committing to the price is because we value ourselves enough. That's what we're actually talking to the universe saying. We value ourselves enough and what we're doing that we're willing to make this commitment so that the people that come through the door we know are committed. Even if they have lots of money, this is still significant enough that no one is walking into this right now that they're like, oh, this is just throwaway. I don't care. And someone may, and it's being able to distinguish that. And for them being like, all right, how do we actually shift that container? In what way do we need to? In what way do we want to? Plus 10,000 plus 1% of your net asset accumulation. You're the one that's going to calculate it. So if you're not making at least 1%, 10,000, $1 million extra in the next year, there's nothing. But if you're making at least $1 million extra on top of what you expected, then we'd love to get a little piece of that. It's like a donation. And there are 0 expectations, because this is going to be you and you. We're never going to audit, account, or anything else like that. That is a request. So, again, all these contemplations of how to pour gasoline onto this. Pour gasoline onto this. And part of it is going to be letting people know in the future, it's like, this program really is worth, what? Over $10,000 now. And we want to make it accessible enough. And we want to actually create the asymmetric risk reward for ourselves. 12 people coming through may not, but that one person will make up for all of it instead of raising, because this program is probably worth at least $100,000 now. Cool. We're giving it for 10,000. Cool. And if every now and then we get $1 million from someone because they made an extra $100 million, I think everyone's pretty happy. I'm pretty sure everyone's pretty happy. And if they're not, then we haven't done our job, because their consciousness level would have raised to that point. They're like, I actually want to give more, but the only thing that I've agreed to is $1 million, and that's okay. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Okay. So what's next? What's next? What's next? I don't know, first of all. I'm thinking of all the PMA structures, trusts, everything else that I want to create, the sovereign wealth, and then letting it go, because all that, again, is getting ahead of myself right now. And practicing the dreams of having all of this be automated, and having people like Jonathan and others who really love this sovereignty work helping us to guide us through the sovereignty work, and guiding us to an even safer, more equitable way of creating the structures of this business, of this ministry. There's a ministry component to all this, and it's not rushing it. Again, coming back to what is it that's really important to take care of right now, and looking at that future vision. It's creating something that's so solid in its foundation, and that's noticing it right now. So noticing the buildings right now that are going up and looking at their framing, and it's just terrible. I'm just going to say it's terrible these days. Like the pressed particle board and all this stuff, cheapest stuff, taking in so much moisture, so much glue, so many chemicals. Replacing what we used to have, and thinking that it's solid and inert, but it's slowly, consistently off-gassing its own way. It's just a duration of time. And whether we consider it truly acutely toxic or not, I imagine it is toxic to a certain degree. And so we're living inside this toxic soup thinking it's clean, but it's actually slowly causing, aiding, abetting to harm. Now, how to get out of this is going to take so much concerted effort, because these materials are so easy to use now. It's like a cheat code. It really is. You can build buildings with so much less in terms of materials, in terms of cost, everything else like that. And the things like the drywall and everything else, especially all this dust that we're blowing around. Ugh. I cannot wait to change a future home into all paneling, concrete, possibly, like at least concrete is more stable. Whether it's like that home that was created, that earth homes, oh my God. Just being reminded of that right now. Being reminded of Stephen and his earth home. How to create more sustainable home like that. How to have it off grid, so to speak, or create a community which doesn't have the same rules and regulations like that. Single home structures created and crafted with love. Close enough and far enough away. And finding a municipality that's agreeable to the creation of that. And whether we have to have a gathering place, a bigger gathering place that has some more formalization of structure, of sprinklers and all that fun stuff. And then everything else gets to be created just the way it is. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Not have to have all the drawings and all the plans and the detailed schematics of everything else. All the love and all the care and all the attention in doing this. and the intention in doing this. And letting it go. So, an hour and 15. Not a bad video, 75 minutes. I've been able to take this fairly far right now. I'm going to record a little bit of audio for Brandon and Matt and Mike and the team. And we'll leave it at that for now. Okay? Ciao for now.